Does studying abroad guarantee a better future? That is the question that we will discuss right here in the Microsoft Teams platform. Well, Assalamualaikum and very good morning everyone. Welcome and thank you for tuning in. My name is Siti Farah and I am the moderator for this group. Before we start, let's get to know to our panelists that will head up our discussion today, shall we? The first panel that I would like to introduce is special guest, Professor Dr. Ain Nazurah, lecturer of Harvard University. How are you today, Prof?
Yes, I'm good. Thank you.
The second panel is Miss Anis Najiha. She is an alumni student from Harvard University. Professor Ahmad Ashraf is our third panel. He is lecturer at University Technology Mara Shah Alam. And last but not least is our Mrs. Akila Najwani for the third panel as a STPM teacher at High School Setapak. Studying abroad expands your personal horizons while opening up a world of personal and professional opportunities. Students who are true global thinkers may already be planning to study abroad. For those who are just getting curious about the big world out there, studying and interning abroad are well worth exploring. So, to paint a clear picture for our listeners today, can you explain what exactly your topic is about? What do you think about studying abroad? Does it really guarantee a better future? Without further ado, I would like to welcome the first panel, Professor Dr. Ain, to express her point of view on this topic.
Thank you to moderator Ms. Farah. Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. I am so glad to be here. It is a great day to discuss whether studying abroad really guarantees a better future. In my opinion, I agree that studying abroad may grant students a better future. If we say study abroad, first thing about studying abroad because of their great and complete learning facilities. Did you know, according to psychology facts, studying environment influence student motivation. To ensure that students are able to study well, students must have a conducive and comfortable learning environment. Other than the learning environment, we need to take a look at learning facilities also. As we know, many local universities do not provide complete and sufficient learning facilities to the student. Each student have different abilities and skills. Some of the local universities do not provide better learning facilities. For example, we can take a look at a medic course. Many of them pursue their studies in India or Saudi because of a better offer and better education guarantee due to good facilities that they are provide, such as they provide skilled instructors and staff. According to the article by Jensen Teixeira, Jeremy Amoroso, and Jim Gresham in their article, Why Education Infrastructure Matter for Learning, state that a recent study from the UK found that environmental and design element of school infrastructure together explain 16% of variation in primary student academic progress. For me, education is a fundamental way to achieve development and growth. Keeping this in mind, it is essential to design educational infrastructure in such a way so that it maximizes the accessibility and effectiveness of education being delivered. Now, one can argue that any place can be good if you are interested in reading and learning. But the fact is, when your environment is good, you get the energy and interest which ultimately helps you learn and perform better. From my point of view, better learning facilities not only assure learning, but also pay special attention to the mental and physical well-being of the students. They should provide a learning atmosphere to every student where they acquire knowledge and skill to grow as a responsible individual. Studies and research report highlight the fact that if universities provide better facilities to students, the dropout rates are much lower. In many countries, the insufficient infrastructure of universities is not up to the mark, which ultimately impacts the desire of the students to go to universities and continue with their education.
Wow, what a great point from Professor Dr. Ain. Is there any panel that would like to add anything?
Ms. Farah, may I continue?
Okay, sure.
Okay. First, I would like to express my gratitude for having me here as one of the panel with a very big name right here. As I want to continue, I agree with Professor Dr. Aina Zura that studying abroad provides students with a better facilities. But we should look at it from all sides. As for myself, I am a Harvard student alumni. Of course, the facilities are world class, which is a plus point for me. But during my study, there was an exchange student program that allows us to explore a different university life. I used to study at one of the institutions in Indonesia that I won't name since I don't want to create any issues. As I can see, after studying there for a month, I had a very different learning experience than at Harvard. As an example, Harvard University offers so many facilities that it is the best facilities I've ever experienced. What I like to emphasize here is during my visit to the one of the institution in Indonesia, I can see that there are differences where the facilities provide there are inadequate, compared to the Harvard. But even with the inadequate facilities, the learning experience there are very different, where the lecturers try to meet all the shortcomings by using all their might without letting the student miss out, even with inadequate facilities. I like to use this modest event to illustrate my point, which is that studying abroad will help you grow as a person. Okay, as everyone can see, each country has its own unique style of teaching, and studying abroad can help you expand your academic horizon and develop capacity to adapt to various educational settings. Adapting to different style of teaching can also help you to adjust to the different management style and making you more versatile in the workplace. It is because the learning experience itself actually needed to help you during your work life. And also, as we all can know, you can only discover what's inside you by jumping out of your comfort zone and putting yourself in the challenging situations. As an example, in work life, leadership style may differ from one culture or other country. With studying abroad, you will learn how to work with and gain a better understanding of the different leadership and a business style. I also want to add the sources that could strengthen my point. From the Douglas and Jonas Speakers 2001, they found the evidence that students who studied in locations that were significantly different from their home culture also demonstrated a slight increase on the scale. And they also found that business students who studied abroad demonstrated a higher level of world-mindedness than the student who studied in control of group who remain at home. Okay, by that, I close my point and give it back to Ms. Farah. Thank you.
Okay, sorry, but may I interrupt, Farah?
Yes, sure, Prof.
Okay, I would like to respond to their opinions. Indeed, Professor Dr. Ain and Ms. Anis. However, I still believe that there are others issues that are bigger enough that can lower the percentage from having a brighter future by studying abroad. Okay, as far as we are concerned, different countries definitely will be using different approaches and level of studies. Either they are easy, normal, and even harder than local approaches, depending on the country. The students may face difficulties as they lack of resources, preference, and experience. Therefore, it may affect academic performance and lowers their motivation. It is getting worse if the students started involved in plagiarism as a shortcut to advance forward, which is a popular among the students to commit. Okay. According to the International Journal Humanities and Social Science, Campbell, Evan, and Leggett 2007 demonstrated that the challenge in using resources may lead to plagiarism, which is considered as one of the primary problems facing international students. Okay, as a result, the students may achieve an average result as they fail to cope with the academic approach. Moreover, it even leads to a failure as they commit plagiarism, which can affect their future.
Impressive, impressive. That was a very good point from panel 1, panel 2, and panel 3. Any panel wants to add their opinion?
Ms. Farah, I would like to continue this discussion.
Yes, sure.
As indicated earlier, already touched on the academics and better future. I also want people to know, other than studying abroad can also get the student to experience other culture and grasp the student's own culture. In international communication, a student become aware that others are different. A process where a student compare himself to herself to others, it enables them to find out what they share and how they are differ from others. It also helps students to realize which culture he or she belongs to, and also to see their culture with a distance and more objectively, and finally think more about one's own and other culture. From my experience, after studying abroad for 5 years, I have accepted other cultures so well and actually getting used to their culture. Even with that, I'm not forgetting where I belong and my own culture. During my study, there was no option from my study program to learn about other culture. But so far now, there has been a spontaneous awakening to cultural differences. Study programs abroad now have an advantage as they sometimes provide a range opportunities for discovering a different culture. Students are sometimes provided with literature on the subject about the host culture. To strengthen my point, I would include the result of the Dwyers and Peters, where the research show that approximately 98% of students achieve a better understanding of their own cultural values and bias, and it all thanks to the exchange programs abroad. Okay, from that, I am done with my point, and let maybe panel 4 to continue. Thank you.
Okay, thank you to panel 2. What is telling point by Ms. Anis Najiha? However, I beg to differ. The issue that circulates within our topic of discussion is a social issue among the students who study abroad, which maybe for some might have slept over this matter, and it can't be done only with the drop of a hat. Let us dive into the matter of social issues. My first point that I would like to pay attention to is international students encounter a range of socio-cultural barriers and social issues. As far as we know, students who study abroad will usually encounter the problem of racism among the people around them, especially in relation to religion. In example of for the context of USA, Islamophobia is very prominent. This might raise the safety of Muslim students who studied there. Not only that, but students might also encounter difficulty in having close relationships or friendships with people from the host country. They might find it difficult to fit in with their culture and also the way they live their life. With different types of people from numerous countries, they will face some cultural difficulties when they live in a foreign country. Not only that, but most of the students who study abroad will be exposed to social problems. As for example, some natives might have the mindset of being superior in their own land. This superiority complex issue might be the reason on why a foreign student could really blend in with native students, as some of them felt that foreign students are some sort of foreigner and should not be treated as well as they are. It is justified in the article by Forbes, Merwet and Nyland, 2008, indicating that this exclusion possesses a negative impact on international students' security and safety, including exploitation and violence against them, and those consequences are visible to our eyes. Would you make it a point to ponder on why this matter is being the barrier of realization why students who study abroad are struggling alone, because they will put pressure on them and will not be able to focus fully on learning?
That is a great view from panel 2 and panel 4. I am sure our audience and panelists can see your strong point of view regarding this issue. Now, let's take a moment to hear from panel 1 and panel 3 about their opinions regarding this matter.
Thank you again to moderator Ms. Farah. Well, there is a lot of opinion regarding this matter and I would like to add other opinion also. My other opinion about studying abroad guarantees a better future because students that study abroad are better prepared for the workplace. As Ms. Anis said just now, studying abroad really gives many experience such as other cultures, experience other cultures. Other than that, we may see it on the other side, which is by studying abroad, students may also develop additional life skills. From the research from Stacy Nevadomsky Burden, Dr. Alan Goodman, and Sir Cyril Taylor in their research, a student guide to study abroad stated that those who studied abroad are able to improve more at their academic performance and their graduation rates are also higher. There are a list of life skills such as know how to talk your way out of tough situations and know different ways to express ideas are some of the life skills that students abroad develop in their life. This can lead to enhanced ability to be a better worker in the future. Studying abroad provides many programs. Upon graduation, students can use all the international experience and highlight it on their resume, which be able to help in finding a better job. Another research we can take a look in the 2013 Erasmus Impact Study, which surveyed European Union students in mobility program. it was found that 5 years post-graduation, the rate of unemployment for students who had studied abroad was 23% lower for those who had remained in their home country. In addition to this, 77% reported that their position contained leadership component 10 years after graduation. As the body of evidence supporting the value of internationalizing education to the individual continues to grow, more governments are taking action in order to prepare their citizens for the future of the global workforce. From the research that I have stated, we can see that studying abroad really can guarantee a better job security and flexibility because studying abroad gives more positive impact and better life skill to the students. Employers also define potential as someone's ability to grow into and beyond the job. They want people who will solve problems for the company and will, in the long run, bring value to their role, and having great potential is crucial to an organization.
Looks like it's getting heat here. What do you think of panel 3 and panel 4? Would you like to share with us your thought on this matter?
Okay, thank you, moderator. I see. Rather than just to agree with you, Doctor, let me brief a short one. There is still one common issue experienced by all travelers, I perhaps, especially while studying abroad. Basically, it takes more time to fully understand and fully speak another language than our mother tongue. It's not easy. If the students are unable to master the language, it may prevent them from interacting socially with the new environment. The reason is because they fear talking to strangers and less confidence to practically speak the language. Later on, it may affect their academic performance, psychologically, and social adjustment. Plus, according to the International Journal Humanities and Social Science, the lack of English language proficiency could limit a student's willingness to interact socially and to create negativity about their ability to share in the new culture. As a result, it will consume more time to adapt and get used to the language, as it's important to fully understand the language to proceed forward in studies. That's all.
Okay, as said by Prof. Ashraf, I would like to add some more grace to the cake of financial issues. As we know, to study abroad, students must spend a lot of money on it in terms of tuition fees, housing costs, transportation costs, daily food, and so on. How can a student, which his or her occupation is to study, have the financial ability to thrive in a foreign country with little to none support? It leads students to take another initiative to work as a part-time workers to add a little bit of their pocket money to survive. This might disturb their studies as tertiary education usually carries a lot of tasks and assessment. Working to find some money while simultaneously studying could lead to mental fatigue and subsequently pop a new problem of loss of focus, which tends to disrupt both studies and part-time jobs. And the most famous initiative that we usually hear about is that students decide to take out a student loan. Students will be burdened with debt and will most likely be able to return the loan when they work later on. Some say that studying on high loans is like a suicide mission. You get the scroll and you also get the loan receipt. Having said that, with a particular student who chooses to study abroad on an education loan suffer from the debt, he or she made during studies. Because I don't feel so much like that. Education loans itself, due to the costly nature, is like having too many fingers in one pie, which is named life. It is clearly shown in the journal title Making the Case, Solving the Student Debt Crisis by Aspen Institute Financial Security Program. More than half, 53% of student loan borrowers noted debt as a factor in choosing which career to pursue. However, 61% of student loan borrowers who had hoped to start a business said student loan debt affected their ability to do so. As for me, I don't think study abroad can guarantee a better future if they are burdened with a lot of debt after graduating from studying, because graduates who are in debt will not be able to enjoy a better future because they will be unable to completely enjoy their post-study life. So back to moderator.
Thank you so much, our panelists, for the informative and the interesting talk. Finally, we come to the end of our discussion. Now that we have listened to all of the interesting points voiced by our panelists, There are so many inputs, pros and cons that can be seen from this topic. It opens our minds and eyes to the various perspectives regarding does study abroad guarantee a better future. Hence, everyone has the freedom to express their opinion on one of the most famous topics nowadays. I'd like to close the forum by thanking all of the panelists for the informative and interesting opinion as well as for participation. I would also like to thank audience for the active participation. Me as the moderator should conclude today's forum discussion. Hopefully this forum will be beneficial for everybody. Thank you for the attention and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you so much.
Thank you, moderator.
Thank you for all the panel.
Thank you for the panel.
Thank you, madam.